What's up, guys? White Sox Daily back again. I'm Aaron Feely. We got some more White Sox news coming at you here today. White Sox finally making a bit of a mini splash in free agency, just maybe not the overseas signing that we had been hearing links to this point. Have a prospect making a big eye toward the future. A little bit of Soxfest news and some in-division stuff coming up. So we'll just jump right on into it. Starting off right off the bat, you can see it down there. The Chicago White Sox have signed Anthony Kay, the left-handed pitcher, to a 2-year, $30 million contract with a third-year option in there to keep Kay around potentially for an additional year on there. Kay had a 5-year stint in Major League Baseball previously where he was a bit of a disappointment, if we're just being all entirely honest about that right off the bat. Bounced around between, obviously he was here in Chicago previously with the Chicago Cubs. He played a little bit for the Toronto Blue Jays after he was traded there. He was drafted originally by the New York Mets. He was a first-round pick back in 2016, a big-time prospect coming out of UConn. High hopes there initially for Kay with the Mets minor league system. And he was doing well for the Mets minor league system. I mean, not numbers that blow you away by any stretch, but, a 3.42 ERA down in the minors for the Mets. They kind of fast-tracked him up to the major league team where he kind of ended up petering out. They ended up trading him to Toronto. Didn't work out there. He ended up with the Cubs. Didn't work out there. Ended up bouncing around just a little bit. And then he ended up overseas in Japan, where he ended up playing for the Yokohama Bay Stars these last few seasons. He ended up posting top 5 numbers on the mound for them, a 1.74 ERA across 155 innings. Real solid stuff coming from over there. And he actually included now a couple of new pitches. And that was kind of one of the big things that intrigued some major league teams about bringing him back, giving him that big second chance. White Sox, no strangers to doing that. Obviously, Eric Fetty just very recently came back over after an overseas trip after he was, kind of petered out in the major leagues. Went across the pond. White Sox signed him. Had a breakout season there that first year with the White Sox. We ended up trading him, I believe, to St. Louis right out of the gate, but hopefully we're able to keep Kay for a little bit longer than Fetty was stationed with us here in Chicago. But obviously something the White Sox have utilized in the past. Kay definitely broke out a little bit with his stuff there as he went overseas. Found a new cutter that he hadn't really been throwing before in the major leagues, still with that 95-mile-an-hour fastball. Says that his changeup had seen significant improvement, obviously up against major league hitters coming up. We shall see. However, according to his own self-scouting, he believes that his changeup got significantly better while he was over there. As we mentioned, the fastball ended up rising just a little bit. It's now up over 95 miles an hour. And, of course, the introduction of the cutter to his pitching arsenal. The White Sox will give him a spin here in the starting rotation. The White Sox used 18 different starters last season, as they did make a 19-game win improvement from the year before, but obviously still 102 losses on the year. Looking for improvement wherever they can find it, and the addition of another solid, potentially solid starting pitcher in your rotation never hurts. We'll also talk about another one of the big White Sox pitching options coming up. Tanner McDougall has been a sensational player down in Double-A for Chicago thus far. He's listed as our number 7 prospect overall, and a guy that was just added to the 40-man roster to protect him from that Rule 5 draft. Looking to, in his own words, his goal for this season is that he wants to make his major league debut in 2026. He set that goal. That's what he's got his eyes on. And so that will be seen. It remains to be seen if he's going to be able to accomplish that. But a guy that the White Sox definitely think very highly of. Currently doing some solid work last season, had a major jump after a rough 2023 in which he posted a 6.04 ERA down in Single A. according to him, he had some confidence issues coming off of that. Said that, he just wasn't feeling like himself, wasn't able to play to his own set standard, and a guy that's now looking for a big bounce back came back, and then last year found his confidence again in Double A, dropped that ERA down to 3.23, a 118 whip, recorded 63 strikeouts to just 17 walks. That's across just 55 innings pitched in Double A last year. A guy that really had a very nice bounce back season. And of course, we already talked about where he ranks in the system. The White Sox think very highly of him. And if he has it his way, he'll be up with the Major League main White Sox roster as soon as this season. So keep an eye on that. Tanner McDougall looking to take the fast track up to the Major League roster, currently down in Double A Birmingham. And we'll see if we end up seeing any of him in a White Sox uniform this coming year. Speaking of this coming year, 2026, we hope to kick things off with a fantastic Soxfest, the annual White Sox tradition here. They've announced the dates and some of the attendees. Should be another fun one here. Looks like it's going to take place January 30th and the 31st. That will be a Friday and a Saturday in January coming up. They'll have Chris Getz and obviously head manager Will Venable will be there. Prospects Sam Antonocci and Tanner McDougall, we just talked about a moment ago. They'll both be in attendance for Soxfest this year. They were scheduled for appearances. And this year, 8 of the players scheduled to make appearances, answer some questions, interact with some fans. Looks like that list is going to be comprised of Davis Martin, Chase Mydroth, Colson Montgomery, Luis Robert, assuming that he's still on the lineup. Obviously, his name keeps bouncing around in every trade rumor that ever comes up in regards to the Chicago White Sox. But he's announced to be there, as well as Shane Smith, Grant Taylor, Kyle Teal, and Miguel Vargas. Obviously, a real fun time for fans. Should be a lot of activities to do there. Should be a lot of good stuff, a lot of interaction opportunities with these players. They'll also be integrating a new season ticket holder package for this year's Sox Fest. You can contact the Chicago White Sox to get a hold of any further information in regards to the different packages for Sox Fest 2026. But moving right on along there, we talked about Luis Robert briefly just a moment ago. We got more Luis Robert rumors floating around. This time it's an in-division bit of nonsense going on as the Kansas City Royals have contacted the Chicago White Sox. Perhaps just, some due diligence, maybe just checking in. But the Kansas City Royals, according to MLB.com and Sports Illustrated, reporting on this one. This is an article by Kurt Bishop reporting from Sports Illustrated that the Kansas City Royals poked their head around the corner, asked about an asking price for Luis Robert, and we've already heard numerous times from Chris Getz about how he feels about Luis Robert. You guys have already heard me talk about it a number of times about how I feel about Luis Robert, but Getz has been adamant to this point. It's going to take the King's ransom. It's going to take a haul if anyone's going to get Luis Robert out of the south side of Chicago. Chris Getz thinks very highly of the Cuban center fielder, is not going to be trading him just to trade him, even in this 1 year of contract control that they have over Luis Robert. And so more power to him. I mean, you might as well always check in on it. But the Kansas City Royals, you have to believe, in division, if Chris Getz is already going to be stingy about it to the Philadelphia Phillies and the Cincinnati Reds, an in-division rival, you want to talk about he wanted a haul from someone else. Kansas City might have to just trade us their entire farm system at this point. You'd have to imagine if they're going to be prying Luis Robert away from Chris Getz's hands. But yeah, so there's the talk of the day. Luis Robert, probably going to be mentioning his name 5 days a week, every single week until the season starts, or he's traded out of here. Every single day there's another team interested in Luis Robert. Every single day there's a new rumor popping up about Luis Robert and the trade possibilities regarding him. But yeah, Kansas City, that was a shocker. Kansas City Royals checking in on the Luis Robert situation. And yeah, that's your news for today. What do you guys think of the Anthony Kay signing? Are you excited for it? Do you have your hesitations based on his previous major league disappointments? Or do you think that he did find himself a new arsenal while he was overseas in Japan playing ball over the last few years? Let us know how you feel about that. Tanner McDougall, you guys believe him when he says that he's going to shoot for this coming season for his major league debut? Let's discuss in the comments below. Are you going to Soxfest? All that in the comment section, and we'll see you guys again tomorrow.